for being by far the best audience we've had in New Brighton so far. Now, it was around this time last year, I won't be too long, hopefully, when we were here with the sister production to By the Waters of Liverpool called Tuppence to Cross the Mersey. And I think it was around that time Her Majesty the Queen passed away. Today, we lost our very own royalty, local royalty. I first met Bill Kenwright back in August 1999. At the time I was delivering butties, I'd just not long left drama school, on a push bike round London. And I got a call to go to Bill's office the next day for a show called, you may have heard of it, called Blood Brothers. Yeah, so I went for the role of policeman teacher. And I got there and then I did my introduction to my song. I like to sing a song as well, and I stood up and I said, I'm going to sing for you Eleanor Rigby by Paul McCartney. And before I got to John Lennon, Bill just interrupted me and he said, we know who wrote Eleanor Rigby, Dan. That was the drama training they gave you, you know. But and anyway, I started to read for the policeman teacher, and he said, just stop you there. He said, do you know the role of Sammy? And I said, no. And he said, what? He said, you must be the only Scouser that's never seen Blood Brothers. And I said, well, that's not true, Bill, because my dad, I know, has definitely not seen it. I went back a couple of days later and I literally did the audition, literally got a call a few hours after leaving the office. I remember when we opened Blood Brothers back in the Floral Pavillion down in Southend-on-Sea, we had a lovely lady called Rosemary who was filling in for the late and wonderful Bernie Nolan, who was playing the mum for the rest of the tour. And Bill came in and absolutely celebrated everyone's performance that evening, all except one person, me. I got absolutely annihilated with notes. And I was devastated. I just went away and did as I'd always done from my youth theatre days, was just to work hard on the role. It was the only thing that I knew. And within a week he came into the next venue, which was Darlington, and he brought the iron in and he begins his notes. I of course was naturally terrified by this point, and he started laying into the whole cast and then went on to ask where Danny was. That's me, by the way. And of course, I was cowering by his legs. I didn't want him to see me, just in case he picked me out. Anyway, he picked me out and he said, if everyone worked as hard as Danny, we'd have some kind of show. I realised later that he only gave notes to people that he knew that could take notes and work with them, and that he loved, really. From there on in, we built a really special bond, I guess. I'd never met anyone either that loved Everton more than my very own granddad Stan, who did so much around the city of Liverpool with my nana. And as time went on, I actually realised there was someone who loved Everton more than my granddad, and that was Bill Kenwright. He really took me under his wing, like so many others. Tom as well here, we shared the same role a few years before, and became something of a father figure, certainly to me, which was hard to really understand given that I'm such a die-hard Red. Can't bite. And he always used to hold it against me as well. He'd take me to games now and then, he'd take my son, but it was always the same old thing, you know, you can come along suited and booted, but no red. That was the rules. Over time, we built up this bond, was growing and growing, and he got to know that I was involved as a 15-year-old in the Hillsborough football tragedy in the Leppings Lane end, and I was on my own. And something sort of changed within that. He every year, 15th of April, he really sort of made a point of making sure that I could, wherever I was on tour with a show, that I could either get back to Liverpool or something happened for me to pay my respects to the people that I left behind that day. I'll never forget his speech at Anfield. I was stood in the Kop, and he spoke in, which I thought was brave of him, to be fair. And he spoke in front of the Kop, and he said the word mum. Mum. And then he went on to say, you picked on the wrong mothers. Talking about the mothers of Liverpool and Merseyside. I was really proud of my boss that day, and so proud to be able to pay my respects to him here at the Floral Pavillion, a theatre that was hugely connected, that he was hugely connected to and incredibly fond of. He was a generous man. He was a man who championed the working class actors and creatives. He'd always go for the underdogs, people like me, who were not quite there at times, but he had a phenomenal turnover as shows, probably turned over more shows at one point than any producer anywhere in the world. He hired more actors and creatives than the BBC or anyone else. It was incredible. When the West End, in the 80s, when it was going through its difficult times, when it was dark, relatively dark, he kept these theatres going with his five-handers. Blood Brothers, being the phenomenon that it is, has opened the door up to so many young people to come into theatre as well. And that we can only be eternally grateful for. I just want to say is just to thank him for all that kindness and support, and it will never be forgotten. He was so proud of his roots, so proud. Our thoughts are with Jenny, his family, everyone at Bill Kenwright Limited, who are really hurting, and the rest of the theatre world and, well, the arts are really hurting today. So I hope you understand that. He was proud of his roots. Yeah, I've said all of that. And listen, thank you everyone. Thank you, Bill. Until next time, good night.